on, everybody? You listen to another episode of Loud About Nothing. It's me, your boy, the fucking hottest dude in the podcast game, Sebastian Conelli. And as always, we got the cute boy here himself, Robbie boy. Robbie, say hello to beautiful
What's going
people.
on, Sebastian?
We got a fire guest today.
Pour a shot for yourself.
We got a fire guest.
Pour a shot for yourself.
We have a tremendous guest today. You know him from his podcast, Blank Check. You also know him from the George Lucas talk show.
Yeah.
And he's a fucking movie star. He's in
debatable.
everything. Okay?
Debatable.
To me, he is. Okay? Give it up for Griffin Newman.
Thank you. And a toast to the audience. And a toast to you, Sebastian.
Cheers.
We established, I don't know if you cut it out, but that these glasses have never been used before.
Never been used.
They've been sitting here the whole time. You let people believe that this was full of tequila and that these were shooters, but in fact this is dirty water, and we just did shots of dirty water.
We just did shots of dirty water out of a decanter and my dead grandmother's cordial glasses.
Chim chim.
This is a nice decanter.
It looks great.
It's my sister used to work for Ralph Lauren.
Okay.
Do you say Ralph Lauren or Lauren?
I think I say Ralph Lauren, but I feel tacky when I do it. I think Lauren feels worthy of the brand. You know what I'm saying?
No, they don't like it. They like Lauren.
I know, that's what's funny though, but I'm like, I know Ralph Lauren is the right name, but it feels like, well, that's the family name is Lauren. But if you're talking about the clothing, you should call it Ralph Lauren.
Well, it's almost like calling it Target. It's like,
yes.
So people would do it
You're
to
bestowing,
make it. Yes. This is a European brand.
Right.
Yeah. So this is a man expensive decanter I just got sitting on the table full of dirty water.
Well, in the same way that like the Lauren family are all like upstate Jews.
All right, so we just took a couple of dirty water shots. We are living large. We had to stop the podcast because Robbie gets fucking phone calls galore. I one time woke up with over 100 missed calls from my mother.
Sure.
Really?
Because I accidentally drunk called her while I was doing coke.
And what did you say?
Now you have told me, Sebastian, you've told me in the past many times that your mother hates comedy.
Oh yes, very famously, my mother hates comedy. My mother, when I was born, she had two wishes. Yeah, she said, "Please, I hope my son doesn't do comedy and doesn't look like Baby Huey." This is when we have an image of Baby Huey pop on the screen, and then a picture of me in a diaper that I've done many DCM bit shows wearing a diaper on stage.
Tiny bib.
Yes, a huge
little bonnet.
Baby Huey's bit, I would say, is that he's huge and he's a baby, right?
Yeah, that's the whole bit.
Yeah.
Babies, normally small.
Baby's normally small.
You wouldn't believe how fucking big this baby is.
You wouldn't believe how big Baby Huey is.
I don't know if you have an image in your... Oh,
I don't.
Because this is part of it. He still acts like he's a baby and he needs people to tend to him like a baby.
Yes.
But he is bigger... substantially than almost everyone he comes into contact with.
It's a funny joke.
It's a very funny joke.
But my mother does not like that joke.
Didn't like it.
And did not want me to
Doesn't like any kind of joke, and that's maybe her least favorite joke.
That's probably her least favorite joke, and I became that joke.
You became that joke.
I go home, and I mean, I remember the last time my mother spanked me.
Sure. How recently?
Years.
Okay.
But my mother... she spanked me. She pulled my pants. Did you get spanked as a kid?
I did not.
Okay. You?
Yes.
You got spanked?
Yes, definitely.
Pants down?
Yeah.
Pants down.
Combos.
I think that comes across in my personality. It's like this kid's got soft hands and a soft bottom.
Yeah.
Neither one has ever been worked in his life.
He never got spanked. Have you ever been spanked ever in your real life?
I will say that. I will.
Okay.
I will say that. I will say that.
Okay. Personal question.
I am so boring sexually that I feel like anytime anyone tries to bring something like that in like that, I very quickly go like, hey, I'm just not into that.
You're not it.
Yeah. So I feel what I'm debating in my mind is, has anyone ever tried?
Oh, okay. And you think so?
I think maybe once or twice, and I would just go like, you don't need to do that.
It's rare.
I feel like I say like, you don't need to do that. Like I feel bad that you feel that this is a thing you have to do. You don't have to do that.
You know, sometimes they do it for themselves.
That's why I say you don't need to have it.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to do it, fine. Okay. I'm not asking you to do this. I don't have a distinct memory of it. I have a distinct memory of being slapped in the face.
During sexy time.
Which I thought was both literally and figuratively, a big swing to take.
Yeah.
Without any sort of conversation in
Yeah,
advance,
yeah,
you know? And I had to be like, hey, I'm just not really into that. Which, by the way, I truly was talking in this exact tone, which I think is a real mood killer.
Yeah.
To just be like,
I'm hard as shit right now.
I was just like, look, quick time out. I just want to level with you.
Yeah. Can we sit down? Can we have a
Mid-coitus.
conversation? Mid-coitus.
I'm not really into that.
Yeah.
But no, not a spanker, not a spanky.
Not a spanker, not a spanky.
You were talking about the last time your mom spanked you.
My mom spanked me. And have you ever seen the SNL sketch where Shaq goes over someone's lap and his feet are on the ground?
Yeah.
So my ass was in the air, tush out,
Okay.
feet on the ground, and my mom starts spanking me in front of my sisters.
Right, you were like too big at this point.
And we all just start laughing because of how big I am on top of my mother getting spanked.
Yeah.
Raw ass.
Well, all of this to say, I cannot imagine how amused your mother must have been when you called her coked up, probably feeling more confident about your jokes than you ever have before.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's bad.
Just fast and loose.
Yeah, my mom does not like my jokes. Yeah. One of my favorite things growing up was like doing small things to get a rise out of her. She's the type of woman, I'm not looking to get a laugh. I'm looking to get a rise.
A reaction.
A reaction of any
Which
sort.
is funny.
Yeah.
Which then gets a laugh from everybody else.
Right. It's you're aiming for a bigger laugh.
Yeah.
There's the big picture.
She's a catalyst.
She's a catalyst, and it makes whatever you did funnier retroactively if it gets a rise out of her.
You know she was going to be on the George Lucas talk show.
Right.
But then it fell through.
We couldn't book her.
She was busy.
She's elusive.
She was busy.
My mom's hard to book.
Yes. No, there was an episode where you were home, and you were walking us through your childhood home.
Yeah.
And the whole thing was you had to be really quiet because your mother was sleeping, and she would be so upset. Not that you woke her up, but that you were doing comedy in the house.
I know.
That's what you said. It's not even waking her up that will piss her off. It's that I would be doing comedy from her home. Walking around making jokes about framed photos and things. That's how you put it.
Well, we had a conversation. No one knows this. After the episode was over, I had to go upstairs, and my mother was almost in tears because I was doing comedy in the house about her what was in the house.
Right, because
almost in tears.
That was the thing. Like, why are you making fun of the decor? Which you were. I don't think you were.
Well, no, I was, because there's a painting of a woman playing with herself.
Well, yes.
I was making fun of a picture of a woman playing with herself in my dining room.
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I allowed to not use any of that?
No, I think that's a license to joke. But here's what I ask you.
Yes, please.
What are the things, because I'm sure you've analyzed this, what are the types of things that most successfully can get a rise out of your mother? For someone who doesn't like comedy, what are the areas? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, what types of things are the easiest ways in?
If I tell a story about her in the past that slightly paints her in a picture that she might not have been the most thoughtful mother.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. So she'll laugh at her. That does work or doesn't work?
It does.
Okay.
She goes, Sebastian, he lies all the. You know he lies. My mother loves to say he lies. Okay. He lies.
So if it's about her.
Yes.
And it's a little bit embarrassing, but it can't be too far.
No, if it's too far,
then it'll be like Sebastian.
She'll leave. She'll say in front of people, "You hurt me."
Yeah.
Which I find retroactively so funny.
Yeah.
Because my mother is me without the giggles.
Yeah.
All the drama that's inside of me is inside of her.
She also knows how to do comedy. She knows comedy. She just, I would say, then maybe chooses to
not do
stay out.
Yeah.
But she's like punched up things that we've done or like said, "Oh, it's funny because
famously,
she knows."
Yeah.
Famously, my mother, the best joke she ever told was we were watching Scary Movie, and
I
think
the original,
and I was a child.
Yeah.
I must have been 10, right? So we were the same age, right?
Yeah, 2000 the movie came out.
Yeah.
10, 11.
Yeah, 10, 11. Yeah. And so the dick goes through the guy's head.
Yes, famously.
Famously, the huge penis goes in one ear, out the other.
Yeah.
Hilarious. And my mother, to her children, her 10-year-old, sitting on the ground, sitting at the foot of her bed as we're watching the DVD rental.
Yeah.
She goes, "Well, that's a real dickhead." Clip it, Mom. We're tagging you on Insta.
But that's a great point for her. She
Yeah.
knows how to make the jokes.
She does.
Yeah.
That's not just like, oh, you accidentally say something funny. That's her in her head doing joke math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And timing it correctly and delivering it
Yeah.
correctly.
It's great.
Right. She does have it in her.
Oh, 100%. We call her from the car.
She can.
And she knows
Yeah.
how to. She makes us laugh.
Oh yeah, I call my mom.
I don't know
from
what
the
you wanna
car. We were driving to Massachusetts and we were all going to Vermont to do shows.
Yeah.
And we're driving through Massachusetts to get weed.
Yeah.
And I call my mother up to ask her how much weed she wants.
Like, he thinks he's doing a joke.
I think
Right.
I'm doing a joke. And what did my
Trolling
mother
her.
say?
I have my own stash.
My mom goes, I have my own I mean, she's
But
funny.
you know what? You know what else? I mean, it shows a certain intelligence of her picking her moments.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like she
yeah,
knows
yeah.
her being anti-comedy in general
Yes.
will make the rare times that she slips a little and makes a joke that much funnier.
It's rare to my mother is an anomaly because it's rare to find someone that can do comedy
Yes.
that doesn't want to.
Yes.
Most
She
of
is
the
an
world-
anomaly.
Most of the world is people that want to do comedy
And
that
cannot.
can't.
And not only that, like there are people who don't want to do comedy professionally,
Yes.
but love being funny.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Anyone you know who
yes.
doesn't want to do comedy professionally but is funny lets you know.
Yes.
100%.
Oh, especially if
Yes.
you do comedy.
Right.
Oh, and they have a couple beers.
They want to be the funny guy at the table or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Do you let them be the funny guy at the table?
Absolutely. I do.
I do too.
I do. I don't know if you're the same way. I'm very comfortable being totally off.
Like, not. Yeah, me too. It depends the situation.
I think I was such an.
What do you laugh?
It
What-
depends the situation.
It depends. No.
Yeah.
I mean, if the three of us sitting in the
Sometimes.
kitchen, was I trying to be on? Not at all.
No, I think we're
No.
having like a reasonable conversation. I think we
Yeah.
came in here and the laughs started. No, but I think I was.
Once he gets an audience
Yeah.
at a few drinks.
I think
you
I
like
was
to be
like
on.
yes. I think I was like a very sensitive, insecure, tiny, fragile child. Right?
No.
You wouldn't.
No.
You'd never believe
You,
it.
Griff?
You'd never believe it. But like you get into that thing of using comedy as a defense mechanism. And like I'm gonna frame the way people see me before they get a chance to make fun of me or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think for a very long time it was like if I'm at a party, if I'm at a bar, if I'm with friends, I'm on. This is a performance.
Yeah.
And then I think the more that I've performed professionally or even just in front of an actual audience, the more I've been like, oh, when I'm with friends, I don't have to do anything.
Sure. I feel exactly the same.
I can just talk to people. I no longer have that insecurity in social settings. I have different insecurities, but I don't necessarily feel the need to be the funny guy.
We would have been funny friends growing up.
We would have been really funny friends.
because
Yeah.
we had the exact opposite problems.
Yeah. Yes.
We had the exact opposite problems.
But manifested in the same way.
100%. When it's like a Republican and a Democrat on super
Right.
ends, how they
Right.
meet at the top or whatever people say.
Right.
I don't
It's
know, I gotta watch
Scalia and
this.
RBG being like, actually,
Yes.
we were really good friends.
Yeah. There's something about us that would have been. We had the same problem.
Yes. Yes. It's that control why people are laughing thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
worried that the second I walk into the room, everyone's going to laugh at me.
Why?
Well, I'm saying I think it was a similar thing of
Yeah.
like my complex about my physical presence,
Yes.
the judgments people are going to make about me
Yes.
immediately, all that sort of stuff. And it's like, I got to control the laughter.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I think I was outrageous in certain ways about being like, I would rather people think that guy's a lunatic,
Yes.
but I know it's my own doing.
Yeah,
Rather
yeah,
than
yeah,
them coming and making a judgment on me that I'm not in control of.
Yeah.
Which now I'm just like,
Make the judgment.
make the judgment.
Yeah. It doesn't.
And when
that
I want to be
suck?
funny, I'll try to be funny. But yeah,
You'd rather be flawed so deeply
I
in
know.
another direction
I know.
than someone say, "Oh, Sebastian has man boobs."
Yes. Right.
Yes.
Right. Or like
I'm-
Griffin's a pussy. Like
Yes.
I felt like I spent a lot of high school acting like Kramer. Where I was just sort of
wow.
like insane and would do inexplicable things.
Yeah,
And they'd
yeah.
be like, Griffin's fucking a lunatic. And I'm
Yeah.
like, mission accomplished.
I
Yeah.
feel the same way. I was like, I would act out. I would get so
Yeah.
drunk, and I would get like,
Yes.
I would be the loudest dude at the party.
Right.
And since I started performing, I
Yeah.
stopped having to be that.
Yes.
It's
yes.
actually a beautiful thing.
Because I know you, I mean, we've performed together in different
Yes.
capacities, but a lot of our friendship has been very quiet.
Yeah.
I feel like when you and I see each other, it's often in a very quiet, muted, sensitive space.
I'm a sensitive man.
Oh, you're one of the most sensitive guys I know.
It's weird.
Yes. But I think we both, that's maybe a thing we've connected. I think you're saying, I mean, we would have been interesting I think we would have done some incredible bits together. We would have driven people insane.
Oh, yeah.
But we would have done a lot of like class bits together.
Would you like to go to the board as a kid?
Sometimes.
I was a big, like, let me go to the board and stand in front of the class and answer the questions.
I think I was more behind the desk from the back of the room kind of guy. I'd save the board for if I really had something.
Oh, interesting. I was going to the board and like writing words that were like inappropriate and scratching them out real fast.
Of course. Yeah. But I think I would often have a partner. It would go through, but I'd be like, I need a partner in this. It's got to be a duo.
Okay.
Would they know?
They would know. No,
they would be in on it.
They would know. They would know. I'd be like, I need someone else who, I don't want to be standing there alone,
Sure.
I want to be working these bits together.
I would actively flirt with teachers in front of
Me
the
too.
class.
That was my biggest move.
That's the funny.
That was my biggest move.
That is, if you're in high school, that's your power move. Right. That's the only power you have is to flirt with teachers.
Yeah. Tom Sharpling was saying about why he loves the movie Clifford so much, the Martin Short movie.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Big Red Dog movie.
Also. But he was saying...
The dog is just so damn big.
He was like, it's an entire movie made up of the dynamic that I think is the funniest in the world, which is a child punching an adult man in the testicles.
Yes!
Because it's such a hurtful thing, both in terms of like physical pain and also like the shattered pride of the man who is having this done in front of other people. But it's like, but there's no retaliation. Yeah. An adult cannot punch a kid back in the nuts, right?
No.
There's this power imbalance where like a child's able to do something that is this painful. It is the one way they can truly beat an adult in a fight.
Yes.
Right? It's like you hit them in this like tender spot, and then they look like a fool in front of everybody, and the adult can't do anything.
Nothing at all. You could get in trouble later.
Yes.
But you win that fight.
Right. And if the adult like gets too angry, they look bad.
Yeah.
If the adult yells at the kid too loudly, you're like, that guy's got anger problems.
It's
right?
only L's.
Right.
Only L's the adults could have.
Right. And there's similarly a thing, I think, of a student flirting with a teacher where it's like, you can't do anything in response to this.
You cannot.
You cannot. It's a more dangerous game.
It's playing with fire.
It's playing with fire. But like if you're really trying to go out there for the laughs in the back of a classroom, you flirt with a teacher.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever had the courage to do this, but I admire the courage on your part because it is a thing where it's just like the teacher is in an impossible position.
Yeah, go ahead, Robbie.
I did so like I remember the end of my sophomore year. I'm like flirting. I'm like, Miss Roden wants to make out with me. I know you want to make out. Like I was like flirting a little bit, maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Anyways, I'm in class with Miss Roden.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was saying that she wanted to make out with me, which is like me pushing the end of the school year. I was gonna say
and it's also overt. You're not even dancing around.
No,
you're making a direct claim.
It had built to this. I would say all throughout the year. And she's like, this is like she took my yearbook away. She's like, you're disgusting. I would never make out with you. Like all this
appropriate, very
good
teacher.
I would say. The bare minimum a teacher could do is say, "I will not make out with you."
Yeah.
Amazing.
And my
New
mom,
Jersey schools.
My mom, who got mad at me for, got mad at me for everything. If I got a B minus, like my mom was somebody like I got my phone taken away. She took my side in this story because she said that the teacher shouldn't be calling me disgusting. And I was like,
interesting.
I was like, wow, this is incredible. I guess I was in the right.
My Robbie, he's a hot piece of ass.
Well, she was like saying, I forget what the whole conversation was.
He's a handsome young man.
And I was just like, I was like, this is my only shot at like my mom not getting mad is being like, she was mean to me. Like she called me disgusting. She was saying
you
all like
essentially flipped it into a basket of deplorable situation.
I guess.
You just like distracted from the behavior in
question
I was
wrong.
And just turned it into the name calling. But I think, I mean, look, if I can come out again, double down on my support of Miss Roden.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah.
I do think you need to say, that's disgusting. You're disgusting. I think in her position, because you're not just
the act is disgusting.
Because you're not just doing a bit of acting like we're being flirty. Which she can just ignore. You're saying Miss Roden wants to make out with you.
Yes.
Right? Your bit is now accusing
disgusting.
her.
Accusing
her
well,
of wanting to do something.
It was flirting.
Wanting to be a pedophile.
It was,
Right, so Mrs. Flirting has to
yeah.
immediately go like, that's not true, and I am revolted at the concept. She can't say, that's not true, and I'm indifferent to the idea.
She can't go, oh, stop, Robbie.
Right.
You're so silly.
She has to both say, we haven't, and I would never.
Yeah.
She's actually totally in the right.
She's totally in the right.
I've never heard someone that, like, she was like, a lawyer advised her what to say. She probably called someone and was like, what do I do?
I would have given her a raise.
100%.
If I was the superintendent of that district, I would have her be a speaker.
Yes.
Going from school to school, going, this is the exact way you respond to someone trying to make a mockery out of you.
Yes.
Well, all year, I mean, she like blew up. But she rightfully blew up. She rightfully blew up.
At you. She yelled at you.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, good.
Took away my yearbook. She was like, you're never getting this back.
Yeah. Okay.
Bro. Yeah, which was the correct thing. After a year, and she was like a first-year teacher.
First year!
First year! Jesus, this is so hard.
I know.
I know. I know. I thought I was funny.
I remember I had a teacher who loved my history teacher. Was really into like weird pop culture artifacts around the war and things like that. Right?
What war?
Any war. I mean, he was like a history teacher. He was a nerd.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But I think like weird artifacts and media propaganda films, things like that, like the way that media supported wars when they were going on,
Yes,
whatever.
yes, yes,
right?
yes.
It was a thing we talked about. I was a big animation nerd. Another thing that might surprise you.
Okay.
In high school, wanting to like rant about animation techniques and shit, right?
Okay.
So the Walt Disney Company used to release these DVDs called the Treasure collections, a treasure
the
series,
vaults.
Walt Disney Treasures, right?
Treasures.
It was like the vault. It was the out of the vault stuff, but it was like shit that was like, this is only for adult connoisseurs.
I think my dad had that. It was like
They
stuff
come in
from
tin cans.
100%.
Okay.
This is like
They looked like a movie film,
Yes.
like a little round thing on the side of it. Yeah.
Connor Ratliff absolutely owns every single one of these. They're like essentially the things that he would make his Twitter threads out of. Where
Yes,
he watched.
remember when he did the 100 Days of Daffy Duck or whatever?
Right. Right, because they'd be like, this is for connoisseurs. We're going to release every Donald Duck cartoon in chronological order with historical context.
Yes.
Right? These are the things that kids don't want to watch.
No.
And it's purely historical preservation, limited runs. So there was one called like Walt Disney on the Front Lines or something. And it was all the weird animation that Walt Disney did in support of World War II.
Oh.
Which was like, there's a Donald Duck cartoon that was like theatrically released that's him having a dream about fighting the Nazis. Right? And then there's like
cool.
Like a Seven Dwarfs cartoon that was like only aired I don't know where, that was about buying war bonds.
Oh, wow.
Hi ho, like
Yes.
support the war we go or whatever. He made a feature-length film called Victory Through Airfare that was like released in theaters. That's like a totally sober animated documentary about like our aired forces or whatever.
Interesting.
So there's two set of all this bizarre stuff where you're just like, I could never imagine the Walt Disney Company today loaning its characters in support of like any war, letting them be that politicized. Period.
Ever.
It's a little more subtle.
Yeah.
More subtle.
It's a little more subtle.
But that's why, like,
what they do today.
For
suck.
how much someone like fucking DeSantis wants to like push back on this idea where they're like Disney is forcing politics down our throat.
Yes.
It's like they used to have like Sneezy look at the camera and be like, buy war bonds. Let's shoot. Right? So I remember like saying to the teacher, like, I got this thing. Can we have one day a class where I bring this DVD in and we show some of it? Because hey, I was always just like, if you can get a teacher to show you something in class,
Yeah.
right? I just always wanted to have the day where you sit back and you watch a TV screen, right?
100%.
But I was also like, this is relevant to what we're talking about. I'll gain brownie points with this guy. I like this guy or whatever.
Yeah.
And I said, whatever his last name was, I already forget. But I said to him, I was like, Mr. Blank, I'm going to bring this in. This is going to be like a wet dream for you.
Woo!
And the whole class went silent.
Oh.
And he was like, Griffin, you cannot say that. And he was one of the teachers where it felt like he would like humor me. He would let me do the bits. He would like view them as constructive. In a good teacher way, he kind of saw like, this is the way Griffin engages.
And that's a great teacher.
If I try to shut him down, he will become oppositional and will be disruptive. I will let him make jokes about the thing we're talking about. If he wants to riff about fucking like Taft in the bathtub or whatever,
We love that.
we love that because he's on subject. He's paying attention, right?
Yes.
And so I was just like, we're like buddies. We're fucking shooting the shit. I was like,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a fucking wet dream for you. And he was just like, I am your teacher.
Jesus Christ.
You cannot imply. Like it was this
That
sobering
I'm gonna
moment.
come in my sleep.
Right.
Yeah.
From this Disney vault.
Right, so I'm just thinking of this moment where a male teacher said to me,
Yeah.
like, you cannot make jokes about me having any sexual reaction to anything.
No.
That is a line we cannot cross.
Yeah.
And then you're here with a fucking first-year teacher saying
Yeah.
she wants to make out with me.
Yes.
I know you wanna
She
make
must
out
have
with
been
me.
22
Yeah, in hindsight.
in hindsight.
Poor
Wow.
lady.
Poor lady.
You think
I
about
hope
that
she's
when you
still
had
doing
like
well.
young teachers who are younger than you are now, and
I
you
know.
imagine having to stand in front of children like Robbie
Like Robbie.
and having to try to command their respect.
Did you ever make a teacher cry? It's a bad feeling. It's a bad feeling.
I think I came just short of it. I think because I feel like if I did, I would have that memory of it being that bad. I think I had the moment where a teacher would just be like, please,
Oh yeah.
please, I'm begging you.
It's
Where I could like feel the breaking in their voice.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
always at that point was like, I've crossed the line.
100%.
I don't think I
Yeah.
ever pushed someone to cry, but I would get to that point and then I'd be deep in my thoughts. Who am I? What am I doing?
Kids
Yeah.
see teachers
Yes.
at their weakest moments. I know I've seen my teachers break down more than I've seen my sisters. More than I've
Yeah.
seen my parents
Yes.
emotionally break down.
Yes.
I've seen certain teachers literally have like throw books against the wall,
Yes.
scream,
Right.
and have to storm out the room to get a breath. And someone else came in and was like, Mr. Anderson's gonna need a break tonight.
Right,
You know?
right.
Like a complete meltdown multiple times a year. And we were just like, yeah, that's what being a teacher is.
Absolutely.
You just have a public meltdown in
Right.
front of 30 children.
How could you not?
Yes.
Yeah.
How could you not?
Yeah.
I think they are like, my life is going to be dedicated to helping children. And then they're like, have this romanticized version of it. And then it kind of is
yes.
sobering when you're in the front of a classroom. You're like, I hate every second
I think
of this.
everyone
I feel
assumes
horrible.
they're gonna be like Michelle Pfeiffer in Dangerous Minds.
Yeah.
To some or
yeah.
Robin Williams in
Yeah.
Dead Poet Society. Like
Society.
anyone,
Stand and Deliver. That's
Right,
why
right.
like I saw Stand and Deliver. I was like, I kind of want to be a math teacher.
Right. Like whether
Sure.
you're Robin Williams and immediately every kid is just charmed by you, or you're like Tough Love, Stand and Deliver, Michelle Pfeiffer, whatever.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
every teacher imagines I'm going to change every single one of these kids' lives.
Yeah.
And when you have some kid who's just like, I don't give a shit.
Sure.
Yeah.
People need to be watching High School High and realize what the reality is going to be.
Right. Most teaching is like High School High.
It's more like John Lovett.
Yeah. Which pretty good movie.
Actually,
I've always
liked it
defended
so
that movie.
much
I think
as
the
a
movie
kid.
has like good jokes in it.
Oh yeah, good
Yeah,
jokes. Definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, I definitely made teachers cry by accident, but I feel bad.
right.
I teach improv.
Yes.
So I have seen the other side of it.
Right.
So I have dealt with people.
Yes.
And I have looked at students in their eyes.
Yeah.
And I said, when I was a child, I've had my own
No
breakdowns.
way.
I said, when I was a child,
Yeah.
and I saw Chris Farley on SNL,
Yeah.
and I said, that's what I want to do with my life.
Yeah.
I always imagined myself having to watch bad comedy. And to teach
hours
bad
and
comedy
hours.
to a bunch of students. This was my dream all along.
Yeah.
I've yelled that at students.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
you've
Yeah.
said that though.
I've said that.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
when I hit my breaking points,
Yeah.
also the worst part is like having to teach kids not to like pick their ass.
Really.
Well, sure.
Adults.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking, loud about nothing. It does kind of speak to this exact instinct we're talking about. Like all of us at 13 being like, I need to be loud.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Right?
I
Like
need to be heard. Yeah.
I need to be heard. Whether or not I got anything worthwhile to say.
Nothing usually.
No, usually nothing.
Did you, even like I did the announcements for my junior high.
Oh, sure.
And I wanted attention so bad. I was willing to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
Just the words of the Pledge of
Yeah, yeah.
Allegiance.
Yeah.
What am I getting out of that?
You want to hear? I mean, one like that. So my school, I grew up in New York City, so it was like a vertical school where it's in a building with flights.
Yes,
right.
So did I. Yeah.
Right.
3-4 flights. My schools were.
Yeah.
always-
So there was a tradition in my school. I went to like a pre through 12 school. but it was split into 2 buildings or 3 buildings around the same neighborhood, right? Cool. And the tradition before Thanksgiving break was, I think he was one of the English teachers, would dress up as Mr. Turkey.
Mr. Turkey.
They had a turkey costume. Mr. Turkey was a character, and
It's a character just that existed in your school.
Yeah.
I've never heard of Mr. Turkey.
No. It was a character that existed within my school.
Okay.
This guy's portrayal of Mr. Turkey. He had worked there for decades. I don't know if Mr. Turkey survived past him, and I graduated before he retired, and I don't know if Mr. Turkey lived past him. I don't know if they had to pass it down to someone else.
He's like, in his retirement, he's like, I can't retire until I find a successor.
It kind of felt like it.
The Santa Claus.
He's having tryouts.
It was sort of like, because I want to say his son eventually also became a teacher at the school, and there was this question of like, does he by default become the next Mr. Turkey?
He has to.
Or do they make the decision based on talent? Do they have to audition?
Do they want?
Because this is the thing. Mr. Turkey was not just like a mascot costume where he would walk in and be a turkey and everyone would cheer.
What would Mr.
It was
Turkey
like
do?
open face. It was like a turkey suit, but like thing on the head, open face, and he would like write a routine every year.
That's amazing.
I don't even remember what the underlying comedy of Mr. Turkey was, but he
I
was.
hope it was that he was a turkey and a man, and he was about to be eaten on
He
Thanksgiving.
was sort of an erudite Brooklyn English teacher,
Amazing.
right?
Yes.
Who had this beautiful, like, deep voice.
Yeah.
And would give this sort of, like, pompous, faux intellectual Mr. Turkey, what this time of year is about kind of speech, right?
Yeah.
And it was one of those, I only went there for the high school, and everyone was like, get ready for fucking Mr. Turkey. And I had to, like, pretend like I got in jokes I had never heard before.
Sure,
but they're
sure.
like, that's funny because he says that every year. And I was like, yes, I get it. I don't think I ever totally got Mr. Turkey.
Was there a catchphrase he had?
What does Mr. Turkey say? Waddle, 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 or something like that.
Waddle?
There was a call and response thing. That was the song.
Okay.
And then he would like whip out his scroll and he would have his monologue.
High schoolers are still
This is the
loving it
thing,
because it's
so-
so nostalgic.
Exactly.
Wow.
And I think maybe the high school version of the routine each year is a little more like tongue in cheek or whatever.
okay.
But the high schoolers would like it. I think it was the thing where when you were a kid, you were like, "This is funny. I'm not old enough to get this yet." And then in middle school, it's like crushing. And then in high school, you're kind of looking back on it nostalgically. But so Mr. Turkey would have to do like 4 shows on Thanksgiving.
That's a lot of shows.
Right,
Yeah.
because it would be
Exhausting.
like Mr. Turkey does like preschool. Then he runs over to the lower school building, right? He does that all lower school assembly.
Sure.
Then he does the all middle school assembly, which is on the top floor
Uh-huh.
in the gym. And then in the lobby is the all high school assembly.
Great.
So high schools always get Mr. Turkey last.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And there would always be like the regular announcements, the final assembly before Thanksgiving break. The principal gives all the announcements and whatever. And then it was like the school paper. I think whoever was the editor of the school paper was part of the tradition that they would always like write a little comedy skit or something.
Cool.
And it was like that was the thing that needed to happen in the schedule to give Mr. Turkey the buffer time
Yes.
to make it from the top floor to the bottom floor. And there was this one year where Mr. Turkey was just running late. Right? And it was like the newspaper editors had done their routine. No more announcements. Principal gets up and it was like, does anyone else have anything they wanted? Like desperate for like
Sure. Filling time.
anyone have clubs they want to pitch? Like what can we do here? Filling time and it was like 5
And how many
minutes.
students are there? Not a lot. You went to a smaller
I went to
school,
a
right?
smaller school, but it's like it's 500 people or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of people.
Somewhere between 400 and 500 people, I
Yeah,
think.
it's enough. It's scary.
Right, crammed into a lobby, up the stairs, like all this sort of shit. And the elevators are right there. And it truly was a thing where we're looking at the elevators. And every time you see like the numbers going down, you're like, this is going to be fucking Mr. Turkey in the elevator. Doors are going to open. It's going to be Mr. Turkey. We're all going to explode, right? And then it would come out and it was like Cesar, the elevator operator,
Yeah.
And then we'd Cesar, happy to see you, but where's Mr. Turkey,
Yeah.
Right.
We gotta be nice to Cesar.
Right. And there was a point where, Cesar was a legend, but there was a point where my friend and I turned to each
You
other.
remember his name. You don't remember Mr. Turkey's name.
I don't. No, Cesar was a good dude.
Yeah.
But there's a point where me and a friend of mine turned to each other and we were like, I guess we got to get up there.
like it depends. It was
wow.
on your shoulders.
Yes, this is the insane. This is why I'm telling the story.
It was on you.
Because I, in that moment, felt like I've been trying to resist it, but I really guess
Yeah.
I need to step up and do this for the sake of everyone else.
You were the man that needed to step up for his school to
Yeah.
defend the wasted time.
Yeah. So my friend and I get up, and she had like a little speaker, plugged into her like iPod, and we played "I Want You Back" by the Jackson 5, and we just danced.
Amazing.
Which was a thing we just would do at parties and
Yeah. You had like a planned dance.
We had like a little bit of a routine.
Yeah.
But we just did that. No one asked us to do that. We just stood up and went to the principal and we're like, Gail, we got this.
So you've opened for Mr. Turkey before.
I have. And then we like
what a credit.
I should have said that at the beginning.
Yeah.
and then we were
Christ.
like we were finished and we just sat back down. And it was one of those things where it was like we weren't booed. It didn't bomb. But people weren't like loving it, I don't think.
Yeah.
And I also think everyone was like, why did this just happen? Like, I guess they gave us something to pay attention to for like 4 minutes, but they didn't have any other material than that.
No.
What was this? And I remember
Not even Thanksgiving themes.
my brother was like had just now gotten into high school.
Okay.
I guess I must have been a senior and he was a freshman that year. So it was like the first time we were in high school together.
Yeah.
And he was like so embarrassed.
Really?
Wow. Because everyone's like,
He was
look,
such a-
your big brother's getting up
He
there.
was
Look.
such a shy kid.
Oh no.
And he was just like, what would compel someone to feel the need to get up and do a stupid dance in front of them? And I was just like, what else was I supposed to do? Mr. Turkey wasn't coming down. Like that feeling of like, I need to do something.
Something. There's a lull. I'll fill it.
I must.
I'll fill it with comedy of me just dancing.
And they'll thank me.
Because you did comedy early as a kid.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Went to stand-up camp or whatever.
It was like a weekend program thing. Yeah.
What? Do you remember your first joke?
So I didn't have like.
You didn't have a first joke when you were. Because how old were you when you started?
I was like 10.
10.
Yeah, it's still a thing that exists. This woman named Joanne Grossman, her husband Stu Grossman, do a thing called Kids in Comedy in New York City, where they will like rent out a comedy club on weekend afternoons when they're not going to do a show.
Yeah.
So it used to be Caroline's. I think they do Gotham now. They've done Gotham for a while.
I'm not keeping up with it. Don't look for me to check. I'm not following the Kids in Comedy tour. I'm so sorry.
No. I'm not asking you for
Gotham, right?
Robbie, is that right? Yeah.
I mean.
I actually know somebody who did something similar, and they did do a show at Gotham.
Yeah, and
Who?
This girl that I used to hook up with, younger brother, and she asked me if he was old enough to do UCB, and I was like, no, he was like 11.
Yeah,
and he did a stand-up thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he might have done that program.
Yeah.
They do a show like once a month. And it would be a thing that would be like marketed as like things for parents to do in New York City, right? Like fun things to do with kids on the weekend.
That's great.
So you just perform for like other kids and parents.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that.
And then like once a month, alternate, not the same weekend as the show, they would do like a workshop where if you were like passed, if you had gotten passed and you were part of the Kids in Comedy rotation.
Oh my God.
It's brutal even as a 10-year-old.
I know.
Comedy sucks.
You have to like work out your new material so they can see you still got it. You can't rest on your laurels, but also that's when kids would come and audition, right?
Yeah.
So it was a thing where like my dad took me to one of those shows and I was like, I want to do that.
Okay.
And my dad was a big sport guy. My brother was a jock, and I was the first kid. So I think they just wedged me into like the boys do sports on the weekend, and I was miserable.
Yeah.
My dad took me to the show, and I was like, "This is what I want to do on the weekends."
Yeah.
So then we found out like, there's the workshop they do where you can come and try out new material. And I was like, "Yeah, fucking crush! I kill it in fucking English class. Why wouldn't this?"
Of course.
I got up. I remember the only thing I did in the first show that got a laugh was it was topical. It was topical at the time.
Okay. I won't judge. I'm ready.
I did a bit about the trailer for Baby Geniuses.
Okay.
Do you remember
We
Baby
love that.
Geniuses?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I love that movie where the babies become smart.
Right. So I did a bit about how bad the dubbing was.
My mom would have hated that movie.
The babies were small though.
They were small?
They were normally sized.
My mom would have liked it till they started talking or thinking.
Sure. Making jokes.
My mom goes, "Oh, I love this movie. There's babies."
Wisecracking.
Wait a second. These aren't normal babies.
Your mom's ideal movie is an Ann Getty's Calendar. Let me just look at them.
I saw so many dramas growing up.
Yeah.
Inappropriate. I saw Amistad in theaters. I must have been 9, 8 years old.
Sure.
I saw The Patriot. I remember having a panic attack because Heath Ledger died and he was 13. I'm like, I'm about to be 13. Why is this happening to me or something? Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
The Baby Geniuses, I just remember doing a joke where I was doing my impression of the dubbing in that movie was very bad. And they weren't even doing like sort of, in my memory, the Babe style thing where it's like, because it's real babies in the movie.
Of course.
But this is post Babe when they had like shot real animals and then put CGI lips on them, and people were like, "This is
yeah,
amazing!
yeah,
It looks
yeah,
like
yeah.
they're really talking."
Yeah.
And Baby Geniuses, from my memory, the babies were just kind of like, and then there'd be full sentences coming out. Like they'd sort of let babies just sort of like.
And
gaggle.
you could do it. You could do that.
I
get whole
I just
sentences
did
out.
right. I
wow, that's
just
a good. That's
did
a good,
some
yeah,
bit,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
I like said one word, like "wow" or whatever. I remember that getting a laugh, and that was the only thing in that first workshop that got a laugh.
And you didn't? Did you get past?
I didn't, but I think the difference was, you talk about like even at that age, right?
Yeah.
The way you know whether or not this is like a thing you want to do is I was just like, fuck, god damn it, I gotta fucking prove myself to these people.
Yeah.
You know, like I came off of it and I was like, I know I can be funny.
Yes.
Right, and so I just like did it once a month until I had a good enough routine that they passed me, and then I did it for a couple of years. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh, that's fun.
That's amazing.
But the Baby Geniuses was the first one I remember. The only one I remember working in that first show. Yeah.
So I say, come on the pod, Griffin.
Yeah.
And this is before you realize that we're just loosey-goosey. And I told you I'd give you the opportunity. You said, can I talk about bagels? So I need to know what is going on with you that you're like, I need to be talking about bagels right now. What is your life right now that you're like, I need a platform where I'm talking bagels?
Well, now I feel like we're winding it up too much. But the last time I did this show,
It's wild. Griffin texts me. He goes, I need to get on the pod. I have something to say. Please let it be heard.
that is not how this went down.
Not at all.
100%. A telegram came to my door and it said, you have a message from Griffin Newman.
It was a fucking spooky butler.
Sir Sebastian, you have a message from Sir Newman. The trumpets fanfared.
Thank you, Archibald. No, you texted me and said, do you want to come back do the show again? We're doing it in person. I said, sounds great.
Yeah.
I'd love to be in a room.
Yeah, well, who knows what the truth is? Mine sounds really true. So.
No.
Hate to be in a Zoom, love to be in a room.
Me too.
Right.
I'm about it.
Right. Love you guys. Had a great
Yeah.
time doing the pod last time, but it was the peak of the pandemic, right?
Zoom.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I've been watching when you post all the videos now, because now you have this fancy setup and you
Fancy.
post the videos of the cameras and everything. I wasn't listening to full episodes. The last time I was on the show, it was like, you have to pick a topic.
Yes.
You have to be ready to go hog wild on a topic.
Yes.
So you asked me to do this.
You probably should have told him that.
Right.
You didn't have to come up with a topic anymore.
Right, you didn't tell me that. And then we had a couple days of texting back and forth on scheduling. So then I was sort of like, what's a topic I feel like is broad enough, but I have strong enough opinions about that I'd be ready to talk about? And I started coming up with some bagel takes. It's not like I have anything
Let's hear a bagel take. We got to hear a bagel take.
It's not like I have anything super hot to say, but I did feel like when you then told me we don't have a topic anymore, I felt a little let down. I was like, can we just talk about bagels at some point? Because I feel like you're
100%.
also going to have opinions.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you know I have opinions.
And I also
about
have a
bagels.
interesting bagel story that I need
See,
to get
that's
to
what
the
I'm
bottom
talking
of.
about.
Your belly's hanging. Your belly's hanging out of your shirt. You're a mess today, Robbie.
I'm a mess today. No, I'm good. Life is beautiful.
Yeah, I have bagel takes too. And you know what? Now everyone knows how bad I am at booking this podcast. Yeah, it's hard.
Well, yeah. But look, I mean, topics come up. Topics come natural. I understand what you're saying, where it's like most podcasts you start and you get a lot more rigid in your format. You go like, the show has to be this. We have to do this.
100%.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you're just like, the show's fucking whatever it is.
Either
It's
the people like me or they don't.
Yeah.
Right. And the things will happen or they won't. You don't have to rein yourself
Now we got
into
the
it.
sign.
The sign,
The
is
sign
the
gives
topic.
us,
Yeah.
it's like the genie.
But I made a note on my phone and I was like, come up, because last time when you asked me like come up with a list of some things, I'll tell you what works, and we did cell phone games, and then but I had like sent you a list that was like napping, like I gave you a list of like 6 or 7 things I like that I felt like I had strong opinions about, right? And I had a notes app to try to come up with some things to pitch to you.
Amazing.
And the only 2 I came up with were bagels and that thing when your iPhone is running out of storage. And there's the percentage that says like other.
Yeah. What's in the other?
What's in the other and why can't you delete that?
Yeah.
I mean, this
I don't
sounds more
know.
like
It's a fucking
joke
Seinfeld
premise.
bit. Yeah, absolutely.
What's in the other?
Right. But that's why I was like, bagels, it's a broad enough thing that I feel like we're all fucking guys who grew up in the tri-state area are going to have strong opinions about bagels.
Thank you for saying tri-state to include the loser.
Thank you. Thank you.
We don't have to.
Thank you.
It doesn't have to fucking
Thank
take
you,
over the
Griffin.
podcast, but I do think
Yes.
there might be something here. Now, here's the thing I've been thinking on a lot, okay?
Okay, bagel take, hot.
Yeah, well,
Uh-oh.
good choice of words here, okay?
Okay.
I'm someone who almost always
Yeah.
wants my bagel toasted.
Okay.
Interesting.
I feel like some New Yorkers view that as sacrilege.
I have opinions.
Because you might be in a place where there is not a thriving bagel market, where the place where you can get local bagels, it's frozen, it's shipped or whatever. Of course you want it toasted because you need to come back alive.
Yes.
And in New York City, we have a lot of bagel places where they're making them fresh on site. There's churn, there's bagels hot out of the oven, and people go, why do you need it toasted if it's already hot? It just came off the line, right? It's already hot. So I went to get a bagel nearby here right before this record, okay? And that thing happened where I said, can I get everything toasted scallion? And they said, it's literally, we just pulled these steam lines coming off.
You went to Bergen Bagels.
I went to Bergen Bagels, okay?
Pretty good bagel shop.
Pretty good bagel shop.
Yeah.
And then we're like, steam coming up. Do you still want it toasted? And I went, no, I guess you can just give it to me warm, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like Murray's Bagel is a great bagel place. They always say,
Amazing.
we refuse to toast.
I was about to say,
Don't
I've
ask.
been in places where they don't toast.
Murray's, they're like, our turnaround's so fast. These bagels are so fresh. We refuse to toast. It's better for you to get it like this.
Yeah.
There's a two-pronged thing for me. One is that, much like you, I love talking. Right?
Yeah, of course.
So especially
You're
if
a storyteller.
I'm a storyteller.
You're a storyteller.
Yes.
Especially if I'm with someone else and I get a bagel, I might not immediately bite into it. And even if I bite into it, I might be eating it for a little while.
Wow,
Right?
you love talking so much that it affects your bagel eating
And
decisions.
bagel
This
cream
is
cheese
amazing.
maybe my single favorite food.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But even if I'm just like, it's the morning, let me go out, get a cup of coffee and a bagel, sit at the little table outside my local bagel place.
Amazing.
I might be like taking out my phone, checking emails, whatever. I don't
You
want
are
to have
slow.
to scarf it. I'm a slow eater. Okay? And I like to multitask in all of this.
There shouldn't be a rush with the bagel.
There shouldn't be a rush with the bagel.
agree.
And if you're saying this bagel's so hot and so fresh you don't need it, eventually it will cool down. And then I will just have a soft bagel.
But here's the thing.
And I like the integrity that toasting provides more than anything else.
You don't like the dough.
Yeah,
I don't want it
yeah.
over toasted, but I want, ideally,
Okay.
I think you want to bite into a bagel, right?
Yes.
And there's like a crunchy layer that is supporting whatever
Okay.
your topping is, right?
Okay.
Be it just cream cheese.
Never had.
Never?
You've never had cream cheese.
I'm so happy
Wow.
I forced this subject onto the
Never had cream
conversation.
cheese on a bagel.
Lox, whatever, butter,
No,
whatever.
I've had lox on a bagel, never cream cheese.
Pin. We're circling back to this, okay? Whatever's on top of the bagel, or even if it's butter, if it's toasted in, right? Whatever that is, I want like a crispy layer on top to maintain the integrity of it.
Yes.
And when I bite into it underneath, I want it to be doughy. I want it to be
Okay.
lightly toasted. I just want the surface area of the bagel to have a little bit of integrity, a little bit of crunch to it.
Yeah.
I understand them saying like, we're not gonna fucking toast this to crap. This is fresh. I still want the doughiness.
Yeah.
But even today,
Okay.
I got the bagel with the cream cheese. I'm with a buddy. We're eating, and I'm just like, I waited like 3 minutes. It's a little chilly outside. I already feel like this bagel is no longer able to hold the cream cheese.
Okay.
It's like
Okay.
spilling out all over the place. Do you know what I'm
Interesting.
saying?
I would say
Interesting.
this. I would say that's too much cream cheese then. Too much cream cheese for the integrity of the bagel they're providing.
Perhaps, which is one of those things.
It's a New York problem.
It's a real New York problem.
Too
Yeah.
much cream cheese is
don't-
a
it
New
doesn't happen
York
anywhere.
problem.
And I think some of the New York bagel
It's starting
places
to become less of a New York problem with the
some of the New
rising
York-
cost of cream cheese.
Some of the New York bagel places kind of treat it like the New York delicatessens, where we're like, we're putting an amount of deli meat on the sandwich that one could not possibly consume in a bite.
Yeah.
See, I would argue.
The jaw extension sandwiches, right?
I would argue.
Yeah.
That if a sandwich is that fat, I turn it horizontal and I'll bite it like this, like it's a hot dog.
Interesting.
Wow.
I mean, but also, I'm a professional sandwich eater.
Yes.
I've turned when
Wait,
sandwiches.
but then you're eating. Oh, so you're just biting into the meat?
Yeah,
Like it's like a corn on the cob almost.
I'm almost corn on the cob in a
You're
sandwich.
almost corn
a
on the cob.
sandwich.
Do you?
Wow,
you know
that's a
what?
good
Oh,
move.
fuck. You know what you should make, Sebastian?
What?
Like sandwich holders, like the way corn on the cob, the little spiked holders with the corn.
Oh,
You should make like little spikes where it's got a plastic sandwich on the end.
yes.
And it's like, if this sandwich is too hard, keep it pinned so the integrity of the sandwich is going to remain, but you can eat it like this.
Yes, and you know what? It has like underneath. It has like a little napkin, so it catches the drips. It catches.
It catches the drips.
It catches the mayonnaise or the mustard
Yeah,
drips.
it's almost like, do you know those things they sell where for like when you're shaving, where it's like the suction cups on the mirror, and then there's like a little bib that you put around yourself,
yes.
so you can catch all the.
Yeah. So there's not loose hair all around
Right.
your bathroom.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah, that's what I want. So here's my thing.
Yeah, never ever eaten cream cheese
No.
Yeah, wild.
on anything or just not on a bagel.
I've accidentally had it in cake.
Okay.
I've had like a red velvet and I felt sick to my stomach.
Really?
Or a jalapeno popper.
Yeah.
I'll be like, is it cheddar or cream cheese?
Interesting.
Are you lactose intolerant?
Love cheese.
Okay.
So what is the cream? What is
friends
the
have been trying to
apprehension of cream cheese?
I don't know. My friends.
He also told me the other day that yogurt might be the single most disgusting substance on the planet.
I'll say this. I understand the
So
yogurt.
it's yogurt adjacent.
Yogurt's always a borderline thing for me. Okay? As a kid who ate a lot of yogurt and now rarely has it as an adult, I'll sometimes try to get the drinkable probiotic yogurts because I'm they're good for me, but it's always a little on edge. I will say I maybe feel the way about cottage cheese that you do about cream cheese.
too.
where
I
I'm
can't do cottage
Me
cheese.
too.
Who would fucking eat this? This is disgusting looking.
You know who does? 90s moms that are on a diet.
Cantaloupe.
Yeah.
Cantaloupe and a cottage cheese. Get the cinnamon. Make it a little sweeter.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But you view cream cheese that way, where you're this is an ungodly substance.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I can't have it. I literally will ask, is there cream cheese in it?
Yeah.
And I remember someone was making me food and they go, I'm not going to tell you so you enjoy it.
Wow.
Which is telling me.
That's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is telling me.
Yeah,
I don't
100%.
I don't enjoy cream cheese at all. I actually, I hate yogurt too. To think as a child, I used to take a little squeezable thing and yogurt in my mouth.
Yeah.
Makes me feel disgusting inside.
It feels disgusting. I mean,
Who was like, yogurt needs to be on the go? Who's thought that? There's so many more foods
That was
need
also
to
a
be
period
on
of
the
time
go.
where a slide and eat was very popular.
it's funny that they tricked us all with the activity, the
Yeah.
novelty of it, to get us to eat yogurt. And you look
Yeah.
at it and you're just it's so gross to
yeah.
slide
Also
your
the mass
fingers.
production of it.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Yeah.
Imagine there was it's like having old
Slurping
milk
it. Yes.
in one of those freezy ice pops.
Right. An otter pop. Yeah.
Oh my! I feel disgusting. I used to go out with the girl, and we would go to Starbucks.
Yeah.
Starbucks, and she'd order a yogurt.
Yeah.
I would literally have to close my eyes.
Fellas,
as
you know when you
driving.
go out with your girl and she gets a Go-Gurt? I thought you were about to tell a story about an adult woman getting a Go-Gurt every morning.
I went out with this girl, and all she would do is eat Go-Gurt and Trix yogurt. I go, "Can I have some?" And she goes, "They're for kids."
Trix yogurt, that's another one I was about to bring up where you think about yogurt in and of itself is kind of gross.
Yes.
Right? And when you think about the process of what it takes to get to yogurt, it's even more gross, right? But
Yeah,
it looks weird, it behaves weird, it moves weird, all that sort of shit.
Ooh.
And the solution to make yogurt more appealing to kids is make it rainbow colored
It worked.
and try to
Yeah.
flavor it like fucking candy cereal. And I'm like,
To the point it's not even healthy.
You know,
but I'm like,
just
Trix
sugar.
yogurt, and I still love insane artificial sweet shit.
Me too.
Trix yogurt feels more disgusting to me
I-
than plain unflavored yogurt.
I
Trix
used to-
yogurt
Oh,
seems
yeah,
like the
yeah,
most
yeah.
disturbing shit in the world.
Oh, me and my sisters would pour
Oh, I
chocolate
forgot about
sprinkles
that.
all
into
that
it.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, that feels revolting.
Oreo bites we would put in
Yes,
in the
yes,
Trix yogurt.
yes.
It was wild.
Yes,
Does it still exist? Trix yogurt was
it must.
just
still
as
It has
big.
to,
It was
yeah.
huge.
It was the Chobani of the 90s.
Yeah.
It was the
It was a
Chobani.
health food craze.
Yeah.
Trix was the healthiest food when I was a child.
It was the number one health
I
food.
know.
It's actually when you look back at what the healthy foods were, that was the healthiest food. Was Trix yogurt and Oreos on top.
We've said this
Sebastian's
before.
on a diet. He's eating Trix and Oreos in the kitchen.
Well, I feel like, my mom would be like, at least he's eating yogurt.
Yes.
You know, there'd be that attitude of it's barely yogurt, and maybe everything else they're putting into it is negating it, but at least it's yogurt. Can I ask what you do get on bagels?
I get butter,
Toasted or untoasted?
untoasted. If I go to a nice bagel store,
Okay.
I'll get untoasted or I'll get an egg sandwich.
Wow.
How many minutes since it's come out of the oven until you would maybe get it toasted?
And
I
do
think
you
I'm
need to have,
like 3 to 5.
Do you need to have a relationship
say.
with the place where you trust? I
Yes.
know the
Ah.
freshness.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm going to a bodega, I'll get a
Right.
toasted bagel.
But I think in particular, especially if I'm just doing butter, and it's not like a sandwich in the same kind of way. It's just
bread and butter.
I do too. I'm like, I want it toast. I want the butter to seep in all the way. I want it to
Interesting.
kind of crisp.
Soft bread
But
with
I love
butter.
I love that. Yeah.
Just a little
I like
crisp,
soft
though.
doughy bread with butter.
Soft, doughy bread with butter.
Yeah.
You know what my problem with some bagel stores are?
Yeah.
They're on their fucking high horse. They have to remember they're making bread in a circle.
Yes.
A lot of these bagel stores, they have the biggest attitude, like
Yeah.
they're gods.
Right.
There was a bagel store by
Like
my
Murray's
college.
would have the sign that said like, "We don't toast, don't ask."
Yes. Like, it's disrespect if
Yeah.
you come in here and you ask for something
Yeah.
that you don't know the rules about.
Right. And you'd ask them, and they'd go like this. Or they'd
Yes.
They'd tap the sign, make you feel like a fucking fool.
Like a fool in front of all the people.
Yeah.
Like they can't even warrant words.
No.
There was a bagel store by my college.
Yeah.
They would make bagels. They didn't have hours for the store. They would open when the bagels were ready
okay.
and close when the bagels were done.
Wow.
You know
Yeah.
the fucking hubris
Yeah.
of a bagel
This is
store?
New York City, baby.
To be like, we open and close on however we want.
That's a little bit
like
of the New
Defora
York.
of bagels.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I
Right.
can't do
The
that.
allure.
No.
It's a bagel. It's bread in a circle.
Right.
I get the water, but we all get. I got the water in my place.
The water is also a little bit of the allure, and I don't know. How
What's
true
the
that
deal
is.
with the water?
Yeah.
Well,
The best is when like a guy from New York
Yeah.
moves to Florida or Myrtle Beach. Like we would go to Myrtle Beach growing up, and there would be like one guy and all the other New York people that moved down there. They'd be like, he gets the water ship from New York.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, he
That's always
doesn't.
the thing.
But they always
the
are
water
like, we get the water shipped to the south.
Well, there's the thing that is absolutely true. There's the thing that's absolutely true that I feel like a lot of New York pizzerias stake their like credibility on, which is like, we got this old ass oven.
Oh yeah.
the oven
yeah.
is got
Like either
the
this
oven,
place
I
has
think.
been here for like 150 years, or we bought an oven from a place that existed for 150 years.
Yeah.
And there's sort of the residual flavor of all the pizzas that
It's
have
a
been.
cast iron, but
Right.
a huge cast iron.
Right, whatever it is. But I'm like, that is real. I do believe that a pizza oven with some legacy and some history is adding flavor to every pie.
The ghosts of pizzas past.
Right. And New York is on such a high horse
Yes.
with these pizzas that I think they wanted the equivalent,
Yeah.
thing for bagels. And all they could really say is like, the water here is better. No one else can compete with us. Now, it always feels a little bit bullshitty to me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I do think sometimes when you travel to a different city and you try their tap water,
Even Jersey's tap water is bad. I joke to my sister, it sucks.
New York has pretty good tap water.
No, I do think
100%.
It is.
It
It's the
sounds
best
like
tap
an
water in the world.
insane
I
New
always
York
grew up,
fuck
yeah.
you thing we're saying, but it is true.
Yeah.
They got good tap water.
New York, I'm not saying the best, but it's got good tap water.
Yeah.
There's something about the right minerals are filtering in
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
It's not
yeah,
too
yeah.
dirty. They're not putting fluoride in. You go to Florida, you get a cup of Florida
Yeah,
water. It feels
that
like you're
is
at the
true.
fucking dentist.
Oh, yeah, I don't like that.
They're telling you to swish around and spit out, whatever.
I'm from Jersey. I grew up. My parents are from New York, and they're like, "Yeah, New York City, best tap water in the world." They would just always tell us, "We're in the city, best tap water in the
No,
world."
I think the bagel thing is kind of bullshit, but then you go to other places,
Yeah.
and there are
Yeah.
other cities with good bagels. But you do go, like, on average,
Yes.
the shittiest corner bagel place in New York City.
I agree with
yeah,
that.
I agree with
But I
this
think it's
totally.
got to be other things than just the water.
I agree.
Is what I'm saying. You can't
It feels
Cincinnati.
like-
It can't be like, "Oh, we're making bad bagels because
Yeah.
they're hard. They taste like they get like an everything seasoning that's terrible. Like it's
know.
all bad."
I just love
across
this
the board.
idea of a man driving around the country with New York
City
tap
water. Me too.
The Johnny
I think
Appleseed
it's
of New
one of
York
the
City tap water. It feels like someone in one of my relatives, that was their job.
Smuggling
what
water.
does Uncle Tony
Yeah.
do? He fucking travels the world bringing New York water to the most beautiful places so they can have bagels with fucking glass.
But it's still never as good as here.
No,
it's never as
That's
good.
why.
It's
That's
not
what
the
makes
water.
me
I don't
think
think
it's
it's the wa-
bullshit.
yeah.
It's not the
Because like
water.
Larry King opened all these bagel shops in L.A. and that was his big thing. Was like we import the water. It's
I thought
called like the Brooklyn Bagel Factory or some shit.
Oh, okay.
He was like, none of the places in L.A. are as good.
Yeah.
and I'm telling you, we're gonna only do Brooklyn water. And I went there
Yeah.
and I was like, this is fine, but it's not the water. And whatever it is about the water, you're sipping a big old jug of New York water.
I'm flexing right now. I drink gallons of this shit every day.
It's the fucking best.
I should tag LA in this shit right now.
I do. I met a guy who was trying to start a business
Okay.
that was like extract of artisanal local water,
Interesting.
where he was like, people always talk about the water being the thing.
Yeah.
For home chefs or whatever, there's not a business model to have your guy Tony drive fucking 5 vats of Brooklyn water over.
yeah.
So he had like little like tinctures, And it was like,
yeah.
this is like Naples water for pasta. This is like Brooklyn water for bagels. And it was one of those things where like, this must have been 4 years ago now. I don't think it caught on.
I don't think
Yeah.
But he was like giving me this pitch. He was taking them out of like, someone said like, have you met like Joey or whatever? And I was like, no, I haven't. And they were like, Griff, you love bagels, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And they were like, Joey, tell him. And he gave me the whole spiel, like on a corner outside of a fucking party or whatever.
And he's got the tinctures on him.
He had them. Right. And I was watching
I mean,
this.
you got to play along with that. You got to taste it and be like, holy shit, this is good.
But I was listening to
What
him
did
and
he
I was
say?
like, this feels stupid.
Yeah.
But also,
Yes.
I would not be surprised if this guy fucking takes off. You know?
Oh yeah, neither would I.
It was
yeah.
one of those things where I was just like, I don't know if I believe in this at all. And I don't know if this is a viable business.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I will be 0% astonished if 6 months from now he has 1 million Instagram followers.
Because even
Yeah.
just mentally, if someone goes, "Oh, the pizza, it's great here,"
Yeah.
they get the water from Naples.
Right.
My brain, who knows what the truth is?
Right.
Yeah.
It could be a placebo effect,
But that was the thing. There was something smart about the fact that it was just like a little fucking dropper bottle.
like a drug.
And he had good labels.
That's key.
He had
Yeah.
good labels, and it
It's
was
all in the
Read good
marketing.
labels when
Right.
you're
Yeah.
selling water.
and he had like 5 different types of products. I forget where it was, from different like cities, right? Where he
Yeah,
was like, it's Brooklyn for bagels, and it's fucking Naples for the pasta or whatever.
Oh, amazing.
Right, and each one had that item on it,
Amazing.
and it was just like the idea of like, what if you just put a drop in,
Yeah.
you know? And I just.
It will do nothing. It will do.
will
Imagine
do
putting
nothing.
a drop in 5 gallons of you boiling water.
It will do nothing.
It will do nothing.
But don't you think
Yeah.
if you bought it out of morbid curiosity,
Yes.
you tried it, you put the drop in, you made your bagels, the entire time you'd be thinking, am I tasting the water?
You have to be.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
You
Like,
the more expensive it is, the more that you taste the water.
100%.
right.
Yes.
Right.
Because you have to justify why you're
Right.
spending money on droplets of water.
Even if you're not going, absolutely, I'm tasting the water's making it better.
Yes.
You are in your mind the whole time going, is the water making it better? Like you're weighing it constantly.
It feels like the Carbonaro effect. Is
Yeah.
happening.
Yes, right.
like so, there's some sort of magic trick.
Right, and it's not like you bought a vat where you're gonna feel like some cost fallacy. I need to justify this to myself, or I'm gonna
Yeah.
feel like an idiot. It's like if you're buying fucking $10 in a little thing,
Sure.
Yeah.
even if you're ripped off, what's the relative scale of how ripped off you've gotten?
Nothing.
The exposure is like nothing.
Yeah, I bought the box water. It sucked.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, it was
Yeah.
novel. We'll
Yeah.
do it. Question.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Bialys? I don't know anyone besides people in New York that have had Bialys.
Yeah, I love Bialys.
You like Bialys.
I was a big butter bagel, toasted everything bagel for breakfast every morning kid.
Okay.
And then I went through a Bialy phase.
You know, Bialys, there should be more like egg sandwiches on Bialys because inherently it's perfect because the bottom there could be no drippage.
It's an interesting thing that I feel like the Bialy is so rarely used for sandwiches. I think it's so often it's just like, well, this is a lighter bagel alternative.
Yes.
You slice it, you toast it with butter or jam or fucking whatever, right? And
Jam is great for a Bialy.
Absolutely.
No dripping down.
Absolutely. Now the Bialy is smaller and thinner, but you make a great point that like it's got that support system at the bottom. It's got the
Yes.
hole on the top, but the form factor, it's got a catcher at the bottom.
It's the spork of bagels.
You got that onion in there, which always adds a nice little kick.
Of course. I think my grandpa used to love Bialys.
But a light Bialy sandwich is a thing. I feel like I started buying Bialys during the pandemic to mix it up, and I had a really good time with it.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Because I like lox. I like some
Yeah.
smoked salmon.
I'd just do a little bit of lox, a thin smear of cream cheese, maybe some capers on top of a Bialy.
Do you have capers in your home?
During the pandemic, I did.
Cool. You strike me as a man who I open their fridge and it's just like gummy bears, and
Yes.
that's the only thing that's in your fridge.
There's like-
just cold gummy bears in the middle of your fridge and nothing
You were
else.
correct. Like 3 boxes of canned seltzer.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a Reese's shelf.
Which is all just different Reese's flavors.
Right, and it's usually based on like which holiday most recently happened that I waited until right after the holiday passed to buy too much of that form factor
Of course.
on discount. Like now I'm fucking lousy with Reese's Easter eggs.
They're tremendous.
They're phenomenal.
What's your favorite of those? I would, for me,
Yeah.
it used to be the egg.
Yeah.
Now, the tree. I like the way it feels, the hard edges in my mouth.
Interesting. I think it's the heart. I think it's the Valentine's Day heart.
Romantic. A romantic through and through.
But also, it does have a point. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes, you get the best of both worlds.
You get the round and the hard edges. Yeah.
I guess I'm just a.
It's a treetop and two eggs.
No, the treetop is great.
The tree.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little, masochistic. I like to eat the sharp edges of the Reese's.
Jigsaw over here.
Yes,
That's a real
of course.
masochist.
Yeah.
Ooh yeah, hit me
Eating
hard with the
Reese's.
peanut butter.
You know what? Like
Reese's
I feel like
holiday.
for Christmas, for holiday now, they'll do the mystery one.
What?
Where it's like, because they're all the little individually wrapped, right?
Yeah.
And it's mystery, and you're like, I might get a tree. I might get an ornament. I might get a snowman.
Yes.
You don't know which holiday one you're going to get in each little packet.
I like that.
By the way, this is absolutely one of the topics on the First Note app I sent you when we did the show a
Was
year and a half
Reese's?
ago. I like naps, cell phone games, holiday-shaped Reese's candy.
Oh, amazing.
Oh my God,
Absolutely
that's
was
so
on that.
funny.
I'm realizing it
Sebastian's
now.
recall.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
I'm
yeah.
Subtly
realizing it
coming
now.
back.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything, but of
Yeah.
course, I mean, I'm obsessed with them.
Yes.
And here's the thing: I told my mom I like Hershey's cookies and cream, and she's taking it too far. You need to be careful
Yes.
when you tell people you like a certain candy.
Absolutely.
Because all of a sudden that might become your identity to them.
Yes,
So
yes.
every holiday I'm getting the
Yeah.
Hershey's cookies and cream.
Yeah.
I go, what happened to the variety?
Right. Mix it up.
Mix it up.
Mix it up.
If someone says they like one thing,
Yeah.
don't make that their identity.
Absolutely. No. Yes. And you are right that my fridge is like too much candy.
Okay.
A lot of like sauces.
Oh,
That's what I was
okay.
gonna say before.
Okay,
All those
yeah.
Sopranos guys, like after the Sopranos ended, they were just selling sauces.
A lot
'Cause
of
they were
different
like,
you
sauces
could
and
sell
condiments.
nostalgia
I like
almost.
cold condiments. Weirdly, all that sort of stuff. Then there was the point in the pandemic
Of
where
course you like cold condiments. You're not a diner. If you go to someone's
Right.
house and
Yeah.
they have a ketchup bottle on their kitchen
Yeah,
table,
right.
Yeah,
run.
yeah.
Gross.
That's a sociopath.
that's a sociopath. But
Or
then
mustard or
right,
anything.
any of that. Right. I want a mustard. I want a mayo. I want a ketchup. I might want something like a peri peri sauce or some sort of
course.
like.
And that's all in the
mix it up,
fridge.
Cranch. That's all in the fridge. There's a lot more in the freezer because I'm a disgusting frozen foods guy.
I
right?
love that.
Okay.
But there, and then like a lot of seltzer or whatever. But yes, I'm one of those people where my fridge is like seltzer and candy and sauces. And then there was this period in the pandemic where I was like, I need to class this up a little, and I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
was buying reasonable lox and capers and onions and just being like, I need to construct a respectable looking bagel sandwich at home every day to create some sense of normalcy in my life.
I think that
Yeah.
we all needed that.
It was just weird that I suddenly became a guy who always has capers because it's like there's
Yeah.
a lot of basics I don't have.
yeah,
Yeah.
but capers,
Yeah.
stinky, stinky.
Hey, you're a bagel guy. It makes
If you're
sense.
a bagel guy through
Yeah.
and through,
Yeah.
my mom at some point she bought like baskets that you get at like a carnival. You know those red like baskets
Yeah.
with the holes?
Yes.
She bought paper
Yeah.
and she made me, my dad, and her fish and chips. Because she's like, I wanted like a restaurant
Yes,
experience.
yes.
So she like ordered fried fish and
Yeah.
like nice French fries
Yeah.
and like
That's fun.
yeah, and we started doing like little themes.
I would get crazy about like plating my bagel properly and like laying out the order of how much lox, capers, where's the cream cheese go, like all that stuff.
So hard as when you're alone or like a
I know.
single man.
I know.
to like plate your food.
Yes.
No one talks about the difficulty of a
No.
single person just
No.
putting their food on a plate.
No.
Mac and cheese doesn't need to be eaten out of the pot. You put some on the plate
I know.
and then some chicken and
Yeah.
it's hard.
I know, and I feel like we're similar in this way where I'm just like, why do I need to put it on a plate? Who am I impressing? I'll just eat it out of the pot. And then the second you put it on a plate or in a bowl, you lay something out properly, you're like, oh, I feel a lot better about myself.
100%.
Yes.
You think I don't need to put this on a plate because who am I trying to impress?
You.
And it actually
Yeah.
does make a difference.
It
You're
does
like,
make a
oh, I
difference.
feel like an adult now.
Yes, I feel amazing. Have you ever taken like a can of something, put ice in a glass, and poured that drink into the glass? It's like, who am I?
I know.
Am I Queen
Yes.
Queen Elizabeth?
Yes.
I feel like I'm royalty if I do that for myself.
It was a thing I started doing a lot during the pandemic of
Yes.
like, I'm going to pour seltzer into a glass with ice.
Yeah.
Because I need
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
feel like I'm doing something with my life.
I went so far, I cut a fucking lemon and squeezed into it.
Holy shit.
I know, bro. It was.
Oh, that's good.
I like went so far. I like poured water
Yeah.
into a glass or seltzer
Yeah.
and squeezed lemon into
Yeah.
glasses.
This was like, I feel like I'm thinking like May, June, July 2020.
Okay.
When we're at this point where it's like, oh, there's no end in sight for this.
No.
right? And like I'm past the point of just like, what do I need to do to survive?
Uh-huh.
And you're either I become the person who goes, fuck this, I'm not playing by the rules anymore.
Yeah.
Or I need to find some way to spruce things up, to keep it fresh.
Yes.
Right? And you're just like, I guess I become a guy who cuts lime wedges into my seltzer. I guess I need something, because my routines now, I've been in like lockdown mode and you're in survival mode and you're like 3 months.
Yeah.
3 months. Now it's all becoming bleak. I'm not going to convince myself that my life is fun and exciting, but I got to mix it up somehow.
Well, that's why I started getting into candles.
Yeah.
Because I smelled the same thing every day.
Yeah.
It was nice to mix up the smells.
Yeah. Yeah.
I miss Bath and Body Works. I miss the store Lush. I literally like had to do those small things so I didn't disappear as a person.
Yes. Same. Absolutely. I think. What was you? I know you were living with your parents for part of the pandemic.
I lived with my friends, and then I moved in with my parents.
Yeah.
And then I moved here.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had the same thing, and I lived alone the entire time, which
Wow,
is
that's
obviously
tough.
I can't.
like, look,
Yeah.
a luxury. It was a thing that like
Yeah.
pre-pandemic,
No,
I
it's-
was like,
yeah, of course.
I can live in New York on my own without a roommate. What a
Of
great
course.
thing.
It only takes you being a movie star. It only literally takes you to have an IMDb page that is a scroll to have a 1-bedroom by yourself.
It was one of those things where truly I was like, it took me being the lead character on a TV show.
Yeah.
This
On
is
Amazon.
fucking insanity.
Yeah.
You had to literally run a show.
Yes. Yeah. I had to like fucking carry a show on my shoulders.
Yes, in order to get a 1-bedroom.
Yeah, truly. Like, it's not like I'm like fucking living it up, but I would feel ostentatious when people would go like, who do you live with? And I'd be like, nobody. And they'd be like, holy shit, Amazon pays you that well?
Yeah.
No way.
Right.
Yeah, because I thought actually
in like a small
Meanwhile, like
apartment.
their mid-level VPs all can live alone that work in like Hudson Yards.
I'm not making millions of dollars.
no.
I'm not like,
Yeah.
but it was like, oh, you need to be that much. Yeah.
that's insanity.
Right. It was bizarre. But yes, like then within the pandemic, when I'm just actually by myself, and I grew up here in the city, my whole family lived here. Pretty early into the pandemic, pretty much everyone from my family moved out of the city.
Yeah.
Like just moved permanently out of the city.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So there was no like base, there was no like home to go to.
Sure. Your apartment was your home.
Right. Like the childhood apartment where I grew up, my dad had sold off like 5 years earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd been renting a place and they were like, doesn't really make sense to be in the city anymore. And they left and everyone like sort of spread out and there was like no other place to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'd gone out of a relationship like 4 months before the pandemic started.
Sure.
And there is that thing at like month 4 where you're just like, how do I make sure I still know who I am?
Capers.
Right? Like
Capers.
It's caper.
Capers
It's
is
like
the
these,
answer.
It's a
these
small little-
tiny
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, truly.
It was going to Massachusetts to buy edibles for me.
He would 10 hours, baby.
Yeah.
10 hours. I would
Yeah.
drive in the car so I wouldn't deal with the drug dealer in New York.
Right.
Because they would literally have in Massachusetts, you could
Yeah.
drive up and they'd walk it out to your car.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to. It was like drop-off service for weed.
You know what was one for the Doughboys podcast, great podcast.
Love it.
So they asked me, David Sims, my co-host on Blank Check, they asked us to go on the show and review Tombstone Pizza, right? And this was maybe 2-3 months into the pandemic or whatever.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm going to figure out every single flavor of Tombstone that is produced and try to find as many different flavors as I can.
Amazing.
Okay.
Now, Tombstone's one of those things where it's like, you realize you only ever really see 2 flavors ever out in the wild.
What are they?
Plain cheese.
And pepperoni?
Yeah, like 5 cheese
Yeah, yeah.
pepperoni,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you might see like a combination,
Yeah.
right? But there are all these Tombstones where I'm like, I've never seen garlic bread cheeseburger Tombstone.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So you're online.
Garlic bread
hunting
crust.
down tombstones.
Right. And so like going to Instacart and seeing like on their website which stores claim they have which ones in stock. I never found any other flavors, but there was like a week where I was so grateful. And I remember going on the show and then being like, Jesus Christ, I'm sorry, dude. You wanted this thing. And I was like, you gave me like a thing to do for a week.
Yeah.
I just walked around with a mask.
Yeah.
I was terrified to see anybody.
Yeah.
And I was like, here's what I can do. I can go to every grocery store.
Yep.
In
In
New
like
York
a
City.
30-block radius.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Right. There are things like that where you're just like, how do I give myself a little, it was like side fetch quests.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If I go to Massachusetts instead of,
Yes.
I will feel like my life is not just this continuum, this like the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what's a thing I've talked about? I'm curious if you guys felt this too. I would get into like a thing where I couldn't remember if I had taken like my medication or not every night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because it's
Like vitamins in the beginning of the day. I think
any of
there's
those
got to
things,
be so
brushing my
many days.
teeth,
Yeah,
any of those things
yeah.
where it was just like
It was wild.
the days aren't separated,
I know.
right? Like there's no way to differentiate between them where I would like go to my counter, take my pills, drink some water, sit down, lie back in bed, and 30 seconds later I would be like, did I just do that? Or is my brain playing the memory of having done that last night?
It's
was
amazing
wild.
that we're all still here and able to talk.
Yeah, truly.
We were doing 2 podcasts a week. Probably that helped. Those were like the 2 anchors of not like Saturday, Sunday. It was like, all right, we had to release on Tuesday, Friday.
I
That was
needed
like how what
I
rooted
taught
the
Zoom
week.
improv.
That was my whole life. My whole life.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it
Didn't
was,
subscribe to one OnlyFans.
you did or did not?
Did not.
That's huge.
Until the world opened up, and then I go, I'll try it.
Now. Because you're rewarding yourself for not.
For all the months I did without OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I said I should have been supporting local artists all along.
Sebastian, truly, that is how I justified it to myself. Like, the reality is, I was sad and lonely and horny. I'm someone who had never signed up for any sort of paid porn, anything ever. And I truly went, this is wealth redistribution. I'm supporting local artists.
People needed that.
Would I have this judgment about signing up for a Patreon?
No,
for a podcast that my friend's doing or whatever?
Almost more embarrassing.
In many ways.
In many ways, Patreon is more embarrassing than OnlyFans.
But it was this like line I told myself I'd never cross. You know, where it's like, I'm not a person who can pay for porn.
And then you are.
And then you are, but there's something about like we're cutting out the middleman.
Yep. There's something nice about it.
I'm not paying Brazzers money.
He used to.
No.
Yes.
I never spent $1. I had an account.
He had an
that
account.
I used.
Oh,
And
okay.
my friend needed a ride at like 3 a.m. and he was like, if you
paid
come
you?
pick me up, I'll give you the password to my
Whoa.
browser.
I
remember
And there was like 4 months left on it and I picked him up. So I had it.
There was this is terrible, but there was a kid at our school who claimed he was like, there's like the secret password for all the like Bang Bros websites, that network.
There's a universal key?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And he was like, it's the middle line of the keyboard, every letter backwards. And you were like, this sounds like some fucking my uncle works for Nintendo in Japan.
Sure.
I swear to God, there's a game where Mario catches Pokemon coming out. You're just like, no, it's not. And then we all tried it and we were like, holy shit, this thing fucking works.
No way.
For years.
He must have bought an account. You don't think he bought an
I
account
don't
and that was
know.
his password?
But it felt like it was
That's a
like
move.
multiple chains away. Someone.
Yeah.
And at some point it stopped working.
Interesting. So
And
you've
it
had
felt like
access to
it.
it?
It felt like the Polar Express bell. You couldn't hear ringing. You know, it's like we've grown up. Whoever's cousin it was who originally had this account, I'm sure like whoever had
Magic of the board.
whoever had that account where it was just the backwards letters
you hope he didn't die.
was probably 5 degrees away
Oh my
at
God.
least from the person who told it to me. And at some point that person went like, I'm married, I have kids, I'm not paying for a bunch of people to like. That was someone who when they were like 20 started an account, gave the password to his little brother in high school.
Oh
Now that he had
my
his own
God.
credit card, and then it spread and spread like the American Pie book or whatever.
Well, then it's
Right.
like, do I actually pay for this?
Right,
That's
I
when
was
you
like,
have to,
absolutely not.
Yeah, I said
Absolutely
no.
not. But I did in the pandemic go like, I'm supporting local artists. Who am I to judge?
Me too.
I know.
Yeah.
I wish,
I did like the first week, but then she was all like, pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Like she was like, just like
Rise and
spewing
grind,
like
hustle
Republican,
culture. Yeah.
like talking points.
You never
I was
told
like-
me about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first week I supported like a OnlyFans person.
Someone
and
you
I
know?
was like, no. That's what I found on the internet. I saw a porn video and I was like,
then
let's see what else she's got.
You were like, politically, we're not sympathetic.
Sure.
Hey, but hey, I was giving money. Yeah, what
Fuck
is
me
what
on
it
this
is,
Blue
baby.
Lives Matter flag. It's like, okay.
It does change it. Yeah, it does change it.
That was a 1 month and done, but hey, she
Sure.
got $8.50 or whatever.
Well, I'm
it
happy
was.
we hit OnlyFans because I know that when the guy, Sebastian, Griffin would like to talk about OnlyFans on the pod.
Let's make it clear, not on the
Archibald
original
came
list
out.
of topics.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like,
not
yeah,
on.
yeah.
You can't write that down.
Do you have a
can't
bagel
really.
store you want to shout out? Like,
Yeah.
what's your go-to?
Shout out a bagel
Is there
store
anywhere?
before we
No,
get
I
out
just
of
want to
No.
talk preferences. I'm trying to think like if I have a specific story. You said store or
Store. What's your spot?
like I'm trying to think like all-time favorite or like I really like the Essa bagel on whatever it is, like 60th and 3rd.
Yeah. Upper East Side over there.
That place is really nice, and there's this like whatever it is around the corner from there, whatever block it is, 61st I think.
Sure.
Like halfway down that block, like 61st between 3rd and 2nd.
Yeah.
There's like a weird like water fountain garden.
Oh, so
one
you
of
go
those sort
sit
of like
there.
inexplicable things that exist in New York City where you're like, this isn't even like a private garden. It's like a waterfall behind an apartment building that's totally open with chairs. It's like a beautiful, nice, idyllic open space that's very quiet, and it's the Upper East Side because it's mostly old people.
Beautiful.
And I'm just like, that's, if there's any reason I need to be in that neighborhood, if I want to take a longer walk, whatever, it's very nice to just sit there with a bagel and a coffee and look at a waterfall, see some old people kvetching to each other. I love old people. I love New York old people.
Yeah.
I'm old at heart.
You're old at heart.
I think I've been waiting my whole life to be like an old New York Jew. You know?
Keep waiting.
Keep waiting.
Enjoy You're not there yet. Enjoy.
I'll get there. But
you
yeah,
will. You will.
But I'm a great appreciator of the
I love this.
Yeah.
Griffin, this was so fun. Thank you so much for coming on.
Always such a pleasure.
Did you get fucked up from the water?
I did. It's like really hitting.
It's actually wild that we drank a little bit of New York water to top off our bagel talk.
I just love. I mean,
yeah.
I love that you're thinking about the frame. I was gonna say the stage picture, but it's the frame.
It's not even in frame. No one
Yeah.
sees it besides the guests.
It is funny though, because when I look at your guys' videos, I'm like, this looks like a real fucking studio.
Yeah.
No.
And it's like right here, the illusion's broken.
It's really the movie magic here.
It truly. But this works. That plays.
Yeah.
The light bouncing off it, like the decanter.
Yeah, the light on the face.
The prism of the purple light. It works really well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. What can I say?
Hey.
This
You're
is,
a gentleman.
thank you. And you're a gentleman too. Is there anything you want to plug, Griffin?
Blank Check with Griffin and David, my podcast where we talk about movies.
Check it out. Griffin literally is one of the most knowledgeable people I ever heard talk about movies ever.
I like movies a lot. I think about them too much.
He does. If you're a movie fucking person out there, please go listen to this podcast.
Yeah, we're doing all the Sam Raimi movies now, leading up to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Amazing.
But we're covering all his films. So we did The Evil Deads. We're in the weird period where he makes adult dramas. For Love of the Game, his Kevin Costner baseball movie.
Oh my! Of course, I've seen that.
Right.
Wow.
Which we just talked about. It's so funny to like be in the position where like you have to imagine every day on set on that movie.
Yeah.
They're like, guys, do you realize how lucky we are? We are making the third Kevin Costner baseball movie.
Oh yeah.
In a trilogy that is Bull Durham,
Oh my God.
Field of Dreams, and you're like automatic masterpiece. Every time this guy hits the diamond,
Yeah. He's
not-
probably the best fake baseball player ever.
absolutely. Absolutely. I was saying to my dad, like he was saying, I remember seeing the trailer for Field of Dreams and going, why would Costner risk it? He just made like the greatest baseball movie of all time. Why risk it by making another baseball movie? When the second one is Field of Dreams, people must have been like, he can't miss.
He can't miss. He's pitching perfect games.
Give that guy a Louisville Slugger.
Yeah.
And then, ironically, For Love of the Game is
It's
a movie
about that's my favorite.
trying to pitch a perfect game. He's
Yes.
an old guy
Yeah.
trying to pitch a perfect game, and you're like, it's not quite.
Weren't you in a Kevin Costner movie?
I was in Draft Day.
Of course.
Amazing.
There we go. You're in the
Draft Day.
universe.
I was in the Kevin
Yeah, you
Costner
are
sports
in the
universe. but
You're in the
I
Kevin
was-
Costner universe.
It was the can we squeeze one final sports movie out of Kevin Costner, and they were like, he's got to be the general manager now.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you are the fourth baseball movie.
Well, it was football.
Football. No, of course.
It was football.
Yeah.
He hadn't done a football. He did golf. He did 3 baseballs.
Oh God.
He did McFarlane USA, which is running. He's the coach.
Oh, that
Sports
was recently,
guy.
right?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that one kind of low-key rips. McFarlane USA is like really good.
That's beautiful. So go check out Griffin's pod, Blank Check.
Yeah.
Robbie, what do you want to plug?
I guess just Loud About Nothing.
Yeah, check out the
plug.
pod.
Keep listening,
Please,
listen.
please.
Yeah, follow on TikTok, YouTube. Where we got the Fugazi studio, baby.
We got
So-
the Fugazis out here, so
Fucking
check it
YouTube.
out.
I'm
Yeah.
just so looking forward to seeing how you respond to the things on your phone the second we stop recording.
I don't know. Yeah,
Oh my God! All right.
I don't know. What's gonna
I don't know
happen.
either. This has
That might
been
be
a
an hour
journey.
from now.
This is beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, all you hotties, please keep sharing the pod. Please say nice things about me on TikTok.
Yes,
These kids
please do
fucking
that.
hate me so much.
Be nice.
Please be nice.
Call him
He's a very
funny.
sensitive guy.
I'm sensitive, and no one realizes.
The thing is, they've been coming after. It's funny, and it's fucking with us.
It hurts. So please share the love on TikTok. All right, Robbie, hit the fucking music.
Oh,